Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back with your instant match reaction to Everton 0, Aston Villa 1. Yes, you heard it right. Everton 0, Aston Villa 1. Aston Villa have kept a clean sheet and a clean sheet away from home, and we've got the 3 points. By hook or by crook, it wasn't the best of performances. It wasn't the most fluid of performances, but 1-0 wins away from home are the perfect victories. Please do hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, help us continue on that road to 10,000 subscribers. We've passed 5,000 now, on the road to 10k. So please do like, subscribe, and get your comments in, your thoughts on tonight's performance, your thoughts on man of the match and Ollie Watkins getting the winner. And we'll get into that in a little while and talk about the performances. So let's talk about the starting lineup first. Emi Martinez in goal, Matty Cash right back, Ezri Konsa, Tyra Mings and Luka Dean across the back. Then we had Boubacar Kamara and Amadou Onana playing against his old club in that central midfield area. In front of them, we had Morgan Rogers, Yuri Tielemans and Jacob Ramsey with Ollie Watkins up front. And, you know, we started off pretty well. Had a couple of efforts from outside the box. One, I believe, from, I can't remember if it was from Rogers that was deflected and went wide. Could have gone anywhere. Then Onana had a couple of efforts from outside the box that looked to be potentially troubling the goalkeeper, went wide, and we really did start to put them under pressure. Everton, obviously lacking in quality, lacking in confidence, couldn't really get anything going, and Villa, were controlling the pace of the game, just passing the ball across the back, and it was only Villa's own kind of errors at times, or being too casual, that was going to cause a problem for them. Villa really should have scored midway through the first half. And yes, it was that man, Ollie Watkins, who should have scored. Ball was out on Everton's right-hand side. We were putting pressure on the defence. I think it was Branthwaite or Tarkowski that passed the ball out to Ashley Young. He turned back. Ollie Watkins carried on running as if to block the pass to the goalkeeper. Ashley Young played a blind pass as I think Morgan Rogers was coming in to pressure him. Totally underhits the back pass. It goes through to Ollie Watkins. And I think it was lucky for Ashley Young that Pickford was right on the edge of his box, right on the corner of his box, because as the ball came through, he was closing the angle down, and Watkins tried to curl it round him and curls it wide of the post. He really should have scored. It was an absolute gilt-edged chance. And I guess if that goal had have gone in, then we would have probably been much more comfortable into the game. But it didn't go in. And we allowed Everton to maybe get into the game a little bit more. They had a couple of flashes across the box. Dominic Calvert-Lewin got in down their left-hand side. Decent little ball from Mykolenko, and he hits a shot wide. And then they have a scramble in the box where the ball comes across and he can't quite get enough power onto it. And Boubacar Kamara stops it on the line. And then Villa end the half really strong as well. Boubacar Kamara having a shot from the edge of the box that the goalkeeper saves. Pickford parries out. And then right at the end of that half, Jacob Ramsey, really should be scoring. Ball bounces in the box. I think some nice little bit of interplay between Watkins and Ramsey. And he turns and shoots. And you think it's in, but somehow goes just wide, and that kind of ends the half, and it's 0-0. Villa really should have been in front, but for some sloppy passing and some lack of good quality decision-making and obviously poor finishing meant that we went in at 0-0. But you kind of knew that if Villa stepped it up and really did, even just went into third gear, they would go on to kind of score in the game. And started off the second half in similar vein. Everton didn't really press us or push us really right at the start. They had a couple of corners that Emi Martinez claimed, and they tried to sort of put themselves about in the box, but didn't really have too much. And then it was on 51 minutes where the decisive moment in the game. And yet again, it's the Morgan Rogers, Ollie Watkins combination. Ball break through to Morgan Rogers in that kind of central area of the pitch. He then runs through, and for somehow, because the Everton centre backs had done quite well all game, Ollie Watkins managed to peel off into that left hand channel. Ball gets passed through from Morgan Rogers, and Jordan Pickford's in kind of no man's land, and it's just left there nice and easy for Ollie Watkins to just stroke it into the net with his left foot, and wild scenes in the away end. And that was just what Watkins needed, especially after missing that chance in the first half. And obviously with a certain John Duran on the bench breathing down his neck. So yeah, great for Watkins to get his goal, and great for Villa to go on to kind of be in the lead in that game. And from then, I don't really think Aston Villa really pushed on as much as they maybe could have done and made it more as comfortable as they could have done. They tried to sit back and maybe catch Everton on the break. But as I say, the quality of that final ball or the quality of the pass or the decision-making just wasn't quite there. You know, Ramsey was working really hard. Morgan Rogers was working really hard, and Tielemans was working really hard, but they just didn't quite have that final pass. There was one moment where Ramsey really got the ball through right in the centre of the pitch, driving at the heart of the Everton defence, and Matty Cash was completely free on the right-hand side. All he had to do was just lay him in, and he was totally free to either pass it across the box or go and have a shot himself. But somehow he manages to undercook the pass, and Mykolenko managed to clear it. And that was kind of the story of that second half. We defended resolutely. We were solid at the back. We were passing the ball across the back. But then when it came into kind of transitions, we didn't quite have enough or the right decision at the right time to break them down or to get that decisive second goal. Everton made some changes. They changed formation, and they, as I say, they huffed and puffed, and they did have a couple of efforts from corners in that second half, which caused a bit of panic in the back line. And then obviously right at the end, they're throwing everyone forward, and Mangala had an effort that was deflected, and you kind of thought that was a final chance, but then ball goes into the box right at the death. Tyrone Mings manages to get a header, but he actually flicks it into the path of their right winger, who passes it across, and it's right in the path of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, bounces up, and somehow he manages to put it over the bar, and then you kind of knew that the game was over from that point. But yeah, great 3 points of Villa. I thought Boubacar Kamara was excellent, picking up any loose bits, really strong in the tackle, dropping into that right fullback position as well to allow Matty Cash to go forward. Although I don't think we used him as much as we maybe should have done. I thought Onana was pretty solid in that midfield. Obviously difficult for him going back to his old club. He picked up an early booking as well, so did very well not to get drawn into anything. They were trying to draw him into stuff, but he had a decent game. And I thought Luka Dean was very solid on that left-hand side as well, and put in a couple of really dangerous balls into the box as well, and we maybe could have done better with them. But yeah, it was a game where I thought maybe the front players could have maybe just linked up a little bit better. Obviously, Watkins and Rogers linked up for that key moment in the game, which is all important, but they could have maybe made it a little bit more comfortable. And Emi Buendia, when he came on, yes, he only had 10 minutes, but again, kind of giving the ball away a little bit too much for my liking when you want someone to come on and just keep possession ticking over. So yeah, important win. We didn't utilise too many players, which was good. Obviously, Duran stayed fresh. He was on the bench. Luan Bailey didn't come on either. Ian Maatson didn't come on either. So you can imagine that they will be kept for the Arsenal game, at least to play in some part. We've got Marlon coming in for that Arsenal game as well, hopefully. So, yeah, all looking good in terms of that next game and keeps that momentum going. Obviously, 3 wins in all competitions in a row. We've won games as well. We obviously had that disappointing result against Newcastle, but we beat Man City before that. So some consistency now starting to build with Aston Villa and some wins, and so important to get an away win on the board after 5 defeats in a row, a clean sheet away from home. And as I say, those 1-0 wins away from home are the best wins as a professional, as involved in professional football. You want to win 1-0 away from home because you know that your defence is solid. You know that you just need one chance and you can win a game, and that's the most important thing. So we move on to Arsenal on Saturday. I think they're winning as it stands at the moment against Tottenham, so they'll be back in in some confident form. But we can definitely go there and get a result. We know we can get a result, and with some of the players that we've got fresh and firing, we'll be ready. So yeah, great win tonight. Obviously, Everton didn't really show too much and they're going to have a long, hard season. But yeah, I was surprised at their crowd as well. I thought their crowd would be really, really up for it. But in that first half, very quiet. They sort of pushed on a bit in the second half, but they didn't really show enough. And as I say, Villa didn't really have to get out of second or third gear to win that game. But hey, you get 3 points. There's another double. We've done the double over Leicester. We've done the double over Everton, which is all important. I'll be back with some more transfer talk, rounding up all the latest transfer news. I'll also be back with match preview for Arsenal in the coming days as well. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, get your comments in below. Do you agree? I would say Boubacar Kamara, man of the match for me, but one or two other good, solid performances as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching. And as always, remember, we'll follow the Villa.